Welcome to 100 speed.
Hey!
What is up, everybody, and welcome to 100 speed. Alright, welcome back to 100 speed. So today we have a 2005 CBR1000rr, and yes, this is an actual Repsol one. So this has about 170 horsepower to the crank, 84 foot-pounds of torque. The dry weight for these, 397 pounds, around there. The wheelbase, 55.6 inches. Seat height, 32.5 inches. So now the actual numbers that matter. The 0 to 100, you can do it in 3 seconds, which is insane. Now the top speed of these bikes is 288 kilometers per hour. And the compression ratio is 11.9 to 1. Let's get into it. Now it's time for a patented sound test. Alright, now this little thing here, this is your electronic steering damper. Basically in 2005 this was new technology. Nowadays bikes have ABS, different track modes. This bike doesn't. This is before ABS, before all the special computers. But basically the ECU controls the oil pressure in the damper, giving an increase in high speed performance while maintaining low speed handling. No more speed wobbles? I think so. Now, unfortunately, the stator is starting to go on this bike. My friend checked it out. So she definitely falls flat on her face at top end, and the spark is a little off, so we won't be able to do the best pulls, but we're going to have some fun anyway. So, in 2004, they totally revamped this bike, gave it a whole new aggressive style, and what they base that on is the RC211V MotoGP racer bike. Now, they changed everything, all the way to the aluminum frame, the unit, Pro Shock rear suspension, and swing arm design, all inspired by the RC211V. For this bike, they adopted a new design for the exhaust, and that was the under-the-seat exhaust. And I must say, I do love it. It's a little less worrying about putting your heel on it, burning your shoe. You don't gotta burn your leg anymore. Not that you do that after you do it once or twice. That's about it for you on a bike. Everybody knows that. And, fun fact, this bike has a plastic gas tank. Well, for what you see and touch, it has a plastic gas tank. It's actually just a fairing. So, basically, they put the gas tank lower on this bike to give it a better center of gravity, make for a lower ride. And then they put a plastic fairing on top. Now obviously most bikes have a metal painted gas tank, and on hot days sometimes, yeah, I guess you could say it could get hot, and the plastic would keep it from getting you hot. But also if you lay the bike down, you don't have to worry about denting your gas tank. You can just replace the fairing. The bike handles great. It just feels so light underneath you. It's very smooth side to side. The handlebars feel great. Good riding position. And let's do a little check after we pass this vehicle, or a few turns or whatever. Let's check the electronic steering damper. See how it does. Give it a little wobble. Yeah. Holds the bike great. You can feel it actually doing its job. Now, the actual Repsol name, there was only about 1,000 bikes made with the Repsol paint job, Repsol name. And for this bike, you got a close ratio 6-speed gearbox. And you got the dual stage fuel injection. So for that means 2 injectors per cylinder. Now, basically, the ECU senses RPM and throttle opening. So you got an upper and lower injector. The lower injector enhances rideability, while the upper injector improves top end speed. At lower RPMs, only the lower injector is working, and both injectors at high RPMs. So the system uses a 44mm throttle body as well, and she just pumps out. It's great riding bike, lots of torque and top end speed. Now we have a friend coming up here. Let's see if we can get beside him, see if he knows a good riding position. But one cool thing with these bikes is now that they're fuel injected, there's no more choke. So you have a PGM FI module, and basically that has an auto enriching system. Basically it helps on cold starts, make sure the fuel ratio is good. How are you, sir? Now obviously everyone knows this is a liquid cooled dual overhead KM16 valve. So it's a 4-cylinder, 4-stroke. It's 998 cc. The bore and stroke on this one is 75mm by 56.5mm. Now the clutch is hydraulic on this, so no more cable clutches. And I must say, on the upshifts and downshifts, it's just night and day. It's what a difference with this hydraulic clutch. And it's got 8-plate clutch inside of this bike. So it definitely does its job a lot smoother. Things that it got from the RC211V MotoGP was the forged aluminum pistons. It got maintenance-free automatic cam chain tensioner. You got your race spec radiator, which is 40% greater volume, and you got one-piece fan assembly for increased cooling. As I mentioned before, the aluminum hybrid swing arm is the longest in its class, and now this is for superior traction under hard acceleration. The longer the swing arm, the less front end wants to pop up, basically. You got aluminum alloy spoked wheels, and they will be orange because it is an actual Repsol bike. Now the view out here is just astonishing. I'm on the top of the mountain coming down, and I'm very lucky to be riding on a beautiful day like this. Winter is coming, so got to get all these in as much as I can right now, but just got to enjoy that view as you're coming down. Like, it's just astonishing. For the brakes, your front brakes, they're radial mounted. You got 4 piston caliper in the front, and you got a single piston caliper in the rear. Now, what they did to increase lean angle, especially being a leader bike, you really got to lean down on this when you're coming into turns really fast, like you do. They ended up putting the starter gears on the right-hand side of the bike, and that made for a more compact bike, and it gave you a better lean angle on it, basically. The front tires, you got a 120 by 70 ZR17, and the rear tire is a 190 by 50 ZR17. With that, you pretty much have all the specs you would need to know for this bike. Now get one, get on her, and ride. One last thing, let's try here. Let's see how nimble she is on a low speed turn. Woo! Just feels so light. Doesn't even hiccup, nothing, just perfect. Now, as patented for every part of the end of my video, let's do some speed runs.